Quantum Viewing Mastery, a PhD-level novel of remote sensing, viewing, and influencing. Chapter 1. The Genesis of Perception, Unlocking the Quantum Mind. The room was dimly lit, a sanctuary of shadows and soft blue glows emanating from high-tech equipment that hummed quietly in the background. Zev Talon, one of the most formidable operatives in the world, sat motionless in the center of this command hub, a space that blurred the lines between advanced technology and ancient metaphysical wisdom. To the untrained eye, this room might have looked like a sophisticated tech lab, but to those who understood its true purpose, it was a portal into the unseen. Today, Zev was not preparing for a typical mission. He was about to embark on a different kind of journey, one that would take him deep into the quantum realm of the mind. The journey to mastering remote viewing, remote sensing, and remote influencing did not start with technology or gadgets. It began within the intricate labyrinth of human consciousness. Zev's path had always been unconventional. From the rigorous training grounds of Mossad's elite units to the clandestine halls of Project Stargate, he had walked the thin line between science and mysticism, forever pushing the boundaries of what was considered possible. Today, his mission was not just to gather intelligence, but to teach the next generation of operatives how to perceive beyond the limits of time and space. The foundations of the quantum mind. Zev's voice broke the silence, deep and resonant, echoing through the quiet chamber. The first lesson, he began, is to understand that your consciousness is not confined to your skull. It's an interconnected web woven into the very fabric of the universe. His students, an eclectic mix of military operatives, intelligence analysts, and a few curious minds from the scientific community, sat in rapt attention. Traditional intelligence work teaches you to gather information with your senses and technology. But what happens when those senses are not enough? When the data is hidden beyond physical reach? Zev paused, his piercing blue eyes scanning the room, ensuring every word struck with the weight of authority. Your mind is a quantum instrument, he continued, capable of reaching beyond the physical into the realm of pure information. This is not some mystical concept. It's grounded in the same principles that govern the subatomic particles, the laws of quantum mechanics. Zev gestured towards a screen that lit up with a series of images. Particles entangled, separated by distance, but reacting instantaneously to each other's movements. Quantum entanglement, he said, pointing to the display, is proof that information can travel without traversing space. Your mind, when properly trained, can do the same. Exercise 1. Expanding the quantum awareness. Zev instructed his students to close their eyes and relax. Imagine your mind not as a solid, isolated entity, but as a fluid, expansive field, he guided. Feel it stretch beyond your body, beyond this room. Visualize threads of light extending outward, connecting you to every person, object, and event you wish to perceive. These are your quantum connections, real, tangible links to the greater fabric of reality. He walked among the students, quietly observing as they tried to grasp the abstract concept. Some frowned, struggling to push past their ingrained perceptions of physical boundaries. Others began to relax, their breathing slowing as they surrendered to the exercise. Good, Zev said. Now focus on a specific point, a memory, a place, a person. Feel your consciousness reaching out, linking with that point. The connection is subtle, but it's there. Trust it. Zev knew that this exercise was just the first step. Expanding awareness was a crucial foundation, but the real challenge lay in refining this expanded state into a precise, actionable skill. Neural reprogramming, rewiring the brain for clarity. After the exercise, Zev brought up another display, this time showing a complex diagram of the human brain. The mind is powerful, but it's also noisy, he explained. Your subconscious is filled with biases, distractions, and static that can cloud your perception. To become a master viewer, you must learn to filter the signal from the noise. He introduced the students to the concept of neural reprogramming. This is not just meditation or mindfulness, Zev clarified. This is about rewiring your brain's neural pathways to enhance your signal processing capabilities. He showed a short clip of a neurofeedback session, where electrodes monitored a subject's brain activity as they engaged in deep focus exercises. The screen displayed fluctuating brainwave patterns, shifting from the busy chaos of beta waves to the calm, synchronized flow of alpha and theta waves. When you enter the right brainwave state, your mind becomes a finely tuned instrument, Zev said. This is where you need to be to perform advanced remote viewing. He led the class through a guided neurofeedback session, focusing on lowering brainwave frequency and synchronizing hemispheric activity. The art of bias cleansing. Zev knew that one of the biggest hurdles in remote viewing was not just about tuning in, it was about tuning out the mental interference caused by cognitive biases. Your past experiences, your emotions, your fears, they all create noise that can distort your perception, he said, addressing the class with an intensity that cut through any lingering doubt. To truly master this skill, you must cleanse your mind of these biases. This isn't just a one-time exercise. It's a continual process of mental purification. He walked the students through an advanced cognitive cleansing technique, a blend of hypnotic suggestion, deep state visualization, and self-dialogue that targeted subconscious biases at their core. As the students practiced, they visualized their biases as black smoke being exhaled, dissipating into the ether. Zev observed the shift in their expressions, a sense of lightness, clarity. For some, this was the first time they had experienced perception untainted by their inner dialogue. Deep target integration, becoming one with the observed. As the session continued, Zev moved to the heart of advanced viewing, deep target integration. He explained that true mastery came when the viewer could dissolve the boundary between themselves and their target. This is not just observation, this is becoming, he emphasized. When you merge with the target's quantum signature, you're no longer a detached observer. You're perceiving from within the target itself. This allows for a level of detail and understanding that is impossible to achieve otherwise. Zev guided the students through the resonance melding protocol, a highly advanced exercise that required deep focus and a refined energetic calibration. The goal was to align their vibrational frequency with that of a simple target, a piece of metal, a stone, or even another person in the room. As the students practiced, the air became charged with an almost tangible energy, a subtle merging of intent and reality. Zev watched as one student, a former intelligence analyst, successfully merged with her target, describing sensations and details that were impossible to fake. She had reached the elusive state where viewer and target were one. Data stream optimization and real-time interpretation. The final part of the lesson dealt with real-time data interpretation. Gathering data is only half the skill, Zev said. Interpreting it in real time without conscious interference is where true mastery lies. He introduced a continuous flow recording technique where students verbalized their perceptions aloud as they occurred. This exercise trained the brain to bypass the analytical filter, allowing pure data to be captured without distortion. Your conscious mind is a gatekeeper, Zev explained. But in this exercise, we are bypassing that gate, allowing information to flow directly from your subconscious to your conscious awareness. The students struggled at first, their words hesitant, but soon they found a rhythm, one that allowed data to emerge seamlessly, unedited and unaltered. The path forward. As the session concluded, Zev addressed his students one last time. What you've learned today is not just about seeing beyond the physical. It's about transforming how you interact with reality itself. Each exercise, each technique is a step toward mastering the quantum mind, your most powerful tool. He paused, letting the gravity of his words settle. In the next chapter, we'll push these boundaries even further. We'll move beyond passive viewing and into the realm of influence, shaping reality not by what you see, but by what. The art of remote sensing, mastering the unseen signals. The morning sun barely penetrated the thick, reinforced windows of the underground training facility. It was a place designed to keep the outside world at bay, an insulated chamber where the only light that mattered came from the soft glow of digital displays and the ambient hum of hidden technology. Zev Talon stood before a holographic projection, his expression as unreadable as ever, as he prepared to lead his students into the second phase of their training. Today, we step beyond perception into the realm of remote sensing, Zev began, his voice calm yet commanding. Remote sensing is not just about seeing. It's about feeling, detecting, and interpreting the unseen energies that surround every object, person, and event. This is the skill that will enable you to read the hidden layers of reality and extract information that is invisible to the naked eye. The subtle art of energetic detection. Zev approached the central console, tapping a sequence that brought up a swirling, dynamic model of the Earth's electromagnetic field. Everything emits a signal, every thought, every action, every object. These signals are subtle, often imperceptible, but with the right training, you can learn to detect them. He turned to the class. Remote sensing is not just a skill. It's an expansion of your innate abilities. We are all born with the capacity to sense energy, but modern society conditions us to ignore these subtle cues. Our goal is to reawaken that ability, refine it, and use it as a tool for advanced intelligence gathering. Zev gestured to the projection, where lines of electromagnetic fields danced and shifted. These are the signals we're after. But today, we're not just observing them. We're learning how to read them, how to decode the energetic language that underlies all things. Exercise 1. Tuning into the energetic field. Zev instructed the students to stand, eyes closed, and to extend their awareness beyond their physical bodies. This exercise is about tuning your senses to detect the subtle. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and begin to feel the space around you. Notice the temperature, the faintest vibrations in the air. There are signals here, information that you've been conditioned to ignore. As the students followed his guidance, Zev moved quietly among them, observing their efforts. Chapter 2. The Art of Remote Sensing, Mastering the Unseen Signals. The morning sun barely penetrated the thick, reinforced windows of the underground training facility. It was a place designed to keep the outside world at bay, an insulated chamber where the only light that mattered came from the soft glow of digital displays and the ambient hum of hidden technology. Zev Talon stood before a holographic projection, his expression as unreadable as ever, as he prepared to lead his students into the second phase of their training. Today, we step beyond perception into the realm of remote sensing, Zev began, his voice calm yet commanding. Remote sensing is not just about seeing. It's about feeling, detecting, and interpreting the unseen energies that surround every object, person, and event. This is the skill that will enable you to read the hidden layers of reality and extract information that is invisible to the naked eye. The subtle art of energetic detection. Zev approached the central console, tapping a sequence that brought up a swirling, dynamic model of the Earth's electromagnetic field. Everything emits a signal, every thought, every action, every object. These signals are subtle, often imperceptible, but with the right training, you can learn to detect them. He turned to the class. Remote sensing is not just a skill, it's an expansion of your innate abilities. We are all born with the capacity to sense energy, but modern society conditions us to ignore these subtle cues. Our goal is to reawaken that ability, refine it, and use it as a tool for advanced intelligence gathering. Zev gestured to the projection, where lines of electromagnetic fields danced and shifted. These are the signals we're after. But today, we're not just observing them. We're learning how to read them, how to decode the energetic language that underlies all things. Exercise 1. Tuning into the energetic field. Zev instructed the students to stand, eyes closed, and to extend their awareness beyond their physical bodies. This exercise is about tuning your senses to detect the subtle. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and begin to feel the space around you. Notice the temperature, the faintest vibrations in the air. There are signals here, information that you've been conditioned to ignore. As the students followed his guidance, Zev moved quietly among them, observing their efforts. Extend your awareness outward like a net, cast it far and wide. Feel for the faintest disturbances, the slightest variations. You are not just detecting, you are interpreting. The room fell silent except for the faint hum of electronic equipment. Some students furrowed their brows, struggling to break free from the confines of ordinary perception, while others began to relax, their faces softening as they tuned into the field of subtle energies that filled the space. Sensing beyond the physical, remote detection protocols, Zev then shifted the session to a more structured form of sensing. He activated a series of holographic images, objects, places, and abstract patterns designed to test the student's ability to sense at a distance. This is remote sensing in action, he explained. You're going to learn how to detect and decode these fields from afar, even when you cannot physically see or touch the target. He began with a simple exercise, a hidden object concealed behind a holographic wall. The students were tasked with sensing its shape, texture, and energy without any visual or tactile input. You're not guessing, Zev said firmly. You're feeling the signal it emits. Every object has a signature, a unique energetic fingerprint. Find it. Advanced Exercise 1, the Hidden Object Detection Drill. Objective: detect and identify hidden objects using remote sensing techniques that tap into the unseen energetic fields. Procedure: 1. Energetic calibration. Begin by centering yourself with 3 deep breaths. Visualize your consciousness expanding, becoming a sensitive radar that can pick up on subtle vibrations in the room. 2. Focus detection. Direct your awareness toward the hidden object. Feel its presence, its density, its texture. Is it smooth, rough, cold, or warm? Let your mind form an impression based purely on the energetic feedback. 3. Signal decoding. As you sense the object, try to translate these energetic impressions into concrete details. What shape does it suggest? What material? Trust the information that comes through, even if it defies logical expectations. The students began to report their impressions. Some described the object with surprising accuracy, detecting its metallic nature and approximate size. Others struggled, grappling with the intangible nature of the task. Zev knew this was only the beginning. Remote sensing was not just about immediate results. It was about cultivating a long-term sensitivity to the unseen. Electromagnetic and bioenergetic sensing. Next, Zev introduced the class to a more advanced form of remote sensing, detecting electromagnetic and bioenergetic fields. Humans are not just physical beings. We are energetic entities. Our bodies emit electromagnetic fields, and these fields can tell us a lot about a person's health, emotions, and even intentions. He projected a detailed hologram of a human body, overlaid with a shimmering aura of electromagnetic waves. What you see here is a representation of bioenergetic output. As remote sensors, you can learn to detect these fields and interpret their meaning. This is especially valuable in intelligence work, understanding not just what a target is doing, but what they are feeling and thinking. Advanced Exercise 2, Bioenergetic Field Scanning. Objective: learn to detect and interpret the bioenergetic fields of living beings, extracting information that reveals emotional and physiological states. Procedure: 1. Field sensitization. Stand facing a partner or focus on a projected hologram of a human figure. Begin by tuning into the space just beyond the skin, where the bioenergetic field resides. Feel the faint warmth, the gentle buzz of life force. 2. Energetic mapping. As you tune in, start to map out the field. Where does it feel strong? Where does it feel weak? Notice any shifts in texture or temperature that may indicate areas of emotional stress or physical imbalance. 3. Emotional interpretation. Allow yourself to receive impressions beyond the physical. What emotions are emanating from the field? Anxiety? Calmness? Agitation? These impressions are real data, informing you of the target's state of being. The room buzzed with an almost electric tension as the students practiced. For many, this was their first direct encounter with the subtle, non-physical aspects of human interaction. Zev knew that mastering this skill was key to becoming an effective remote sensor. It was a blend of science, intuition, and deeply honed sensitivity. Advanced sensing in covert operations. As the session progressed, Zev shifted the focus to practical applications. He displayed a series of case studies from his own missions, times when remote sensing had been the decisive factor in success. In the field, remote sensing can be the difference between life and death, between achieving your objective
The legend of Zev Talon. The quantum operative. Step into the mind of Zev Talon, the master of disguise, a Mossad operative with quantum vision in his eyes. He's the shadow in the corner, the unseen in the night, remote viewing God's eye, bringing truth into sight. He's the wolf in the jungle, every move calculated by locating through time. Got the haters frustrated, reading signals like scriptures, decoding every line. A quantum assassin, bending both space and time. He's got the skills of a prophet, but the heart of a beast, influencing timelines like a king at a feast. He's the architect of fate, bending laws of attraction, strategic with his thoughts, every move is an action. From the depths of the field to the heights of the skies, he's the one pulling strings with his mind so wise. He's the quantum overlord, a master of the unseen, with a mind so sharp, every thought is a guillotine. Zev Talon, the unseen ghost, influencing time when you need him most. He's the man in the shadows, pulling the thread, got the power of a legend, a step ahead. He's the wolf in the dark, the unseen hand, with a mind like a weapon, he controls the land, perceiving all angles, seeing all lies. He's the quantum visionary with the piercing eyes. Zev Talon, the sniper without the rifle, remote viewing ops, every move is vital. He's the one-man army, intelligence is elite, no satellite needed, just his mind on the beat. He's trained by the shadows, refined by the light, with a code of ethics sharper than a diamond in the night. He's the balance of chaos, the order in the storm, strategic with the moves, no conventional form. He's influencing targets from 1,000 miles away, with the whisper of intent. He can sway any day like a maestro, with a symphony of thought and precision. He conducts the unseen with a godlike vision. Battlefield of minds, he's the general of the fray, commanding unseen armies with the thought as they obey. From the boardroom to the war zone, every space he's blessed, got the tactics of a warrior, the insight of the best. Zev Talon, the unseen king, in the quantum field he controls the ring. With a whisper in the ether, he shifts the tide, got the vision of a legend with the force inside. He's the ghost in the shell, the voice in the code, with the power of intent, every thought's a road. He's the guide in the night, the unseen friend. Zev Talon, the quantum force that'll never end. He's the man with two sights, seeing double at once, by location master, got them all in a trance. He's on the high ground and the low, surveying the scene, with the mind so clear he makes the complex scene clean. He's the king of perception, controlling all angles, mapping every thought with the mind of an angel. From the tactical maneuvers to the psychic sway, he's the unseen archit. The quantum operative. He's the man with two sights, seeing double at once, by location master, got them all in a trance. He's on the high ground and the low, surveying the scene, with the mind so clear he makes the complex scene clean. He's the king of perception, controlling all angles, mapping every thought with the mind of an angel. From the tactical maneuvers to the psychic sway, he's the unseen archit. He's the man with two sights, seeing double at once, by location master, got them all in a trance. He's on the high ground and the low, surveying the scene, with a mind so clear he makes the complex scene clean. He's the king of perception, controlling all angles, with the power of intent, every thought's a road. He's the guide in the night, the unseen friend. Zev Talon, the quantum force that'll never end. Zev Talon steps in, Mossad's finest creation, quantum mastermind with no limitation. He's a ghost in the system, unseen, unheard, bending reality with each spoken word. He's the phantom in the room, the shadow on the wall, a sniper with no rifle making empires fall. He's got the mind of a hacker, the moves of a thief, remote viewing every threat, every plan, every beat. He's the architect of stealth, the designer of fate, reading timelines like books, never showing up late. He's bilocating through dimensions, left hand in the past, right hand in the future, making moves that last. Zev's vision so sharp, he sees the quantum divide, every molecule dancing, every particle slide. He's the unseen hand, guiding nations like strings, pulling leaders like puppets, making presidents kings. Zev Talon, the specter unseen, moving through time like a lucid dream, master of the mind, the king of control, with a heart so cold and a burning soul. He's the watcher of the night, the judge of the dawn, the silent executioner where the lights withdrawn. Zev Talon, the legend, the name on the breeze, with the mind of a god that no man sees. He's the quantum operative, running ups in the dark, making moves so precise like a surgeon's mark. He's the wolf in the den, the shark in the tide, taking down targets from miles worldwide. His thoughts are encrypted, his motives are hidden, no data can trace him, no code is forbidden. He's the virus in the mainframe, the glitch in the code, the specter in the net, every secret he's owed. He's moving past the grid, unplugged from the system, a cipher so deep no algorithm can list him. He's the enigma, wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in a dream with a gaze that can split the quantum scene. He's the king of probability, the lord of the odds, outsmarting every foe with the mind of the gods. He's influencing outcomes with the flick of his thought, rewriting the code that every battle's fought. Zev Talon, the unseen knight with a mind like a scalpel cutting through the night. The master of the silent, the lord of the still, moving like a phantom on a midnight drill. He's the strategist supreme, the planner unseen, the puppet master's master with an infinite scheme. He's the one that you fear, the name on the list, Zev Talon, the legend that can't be missed. Time is a weapon and Zev's got the blade, slicing through seconds like a serenade. He's the tempo tactician, the clockwork king, controlling every second like a puppet on a string. He's scanning through the past, seeing futures unfold, rewriting the pages of history untold. He's the man with no limits, the time-bending sage, turning moments to victories on the quantum stage. Zev's got the past on rewind, the future on pause, every timeline's a canvas, every shift. He's the watcher of the night, but the mind like a scalpel, like a lucid dream, like a surgeon's mark. He's the watcher of the night, the judge of the dawn, the silent executioner when the lights were drawn. Zev Talon, the legend, the name on the breeze, with the mind of a god that no man sees. He's the watcher of the night, the judge of the dawn, the silent executioner when the lights were drawn. Zev Talon, the legend, the name on the breeze, with the mind of a god that no man sees. Time is a weapon, and Zev's got the blade, flashing through time while cutting through the night, with the mind of a god that no man sees. Zev Talon, the legend that can't be missed. Time is a weapon, and Zev's got the blade, flashing through time while cutting through the night, with the mind of a god that no man sees. Zev Talon, the legend that can't be missed.
They were stepping into a battlefield that was both ancient and futuristic, one that existed in the unseen spaces between thought and intention. The unseen battle, understanding energetic warfare. Welcome to the next phase of your training, Zev began, his voice resonating with a quiet authority. Today, we're going to explore a battlefield that most operatives never even recognize, the battlefield of the mind and energy. Energetic warfare is about more than just influencing events. It's about defending and attacking in the quantum realm. It's about commanding the space where thought becomes action, where intent becomes reality. He moved around the circle, making eye contact with each student, ensuring they understood the gravity of the lesson. This is the realm of psychic defense and energetic assault. Here, you don't need weapons to cause harm, and you don't need armor to protect yourself. Your mind is your sword, your shield, and your greatest ally. Zev activated a small, dim projector in the center of the circle, displaying a holographic representation of a human aura, a vibrant field of energy surrounding a figure. Every human, every living being, emits an energy field. This field is both a source of power and a vulnerability. In energetic warfare, you learn to manipulate this field, to protect your own and disrupt those of your adversaries. Exercise 1. Building the energetic shield. Zev began with the basics. The construction of an energetic shield, a mental barrier that could deflect unwanted influences and protect against energetic attacks. Your first line of defense is your shield. Without it, you're vulnerable to every stray thought, every psychic intrusion, every hostile intention. Objective: create a powerful, resilient energetic shield to protect against external influences and energetic attacks. Procedure: 1. Grounding the self. Begin by grounding your energy. Close your eyes and imagine roots extending from your feet deep into the earth, drawing up strength and stability. This grounding anchors your energy, making your shield more resilient. 2. Shield visualization. Visualize a glowing, impenetrable barrier surrounding your body. It can be a sphere, a wall, or any form that feels strong and protective to you. Focus on its color, texture, and density. Make it as vivid as possible. 3. Shield activation. As you visualize the shield, infuse it with your intent. Imagine it deflecting negative energy, absorbing impacts, and dissolving hostile thoughts. Feel its power grow with each breath, creating a barrier that is unbreakable. The students practiced, some struggling at first to maintain the visualization, while others felt an immediate surge of empowerment. Zev moved among them, sensing the strength of their shields, offering corrections and guidance where needed. Your shield is your first line of defense, but it's more than just protection. It's an extension of your will. Psychic defense, deflecting energetic attacks. With their shields in place, Zev shifted the focus to more dynamic forms of defense, psychic countermeasures. In energetic warfare, not all attacks are direct. Some are subtle, a whisper of doubt, an unseen manipulation. You need to be able to sense these intrusions and deflect them before they take root. He demonstrated by projecting a faint but sharp pulse of energy toward one of the students, who visibly recoiled, their shield flickering in response. That was a minor push, Zev said calmly. A subtle intrusion meant to test your defenses. You must learn to detect these before they reach you. Advanced Exercise 2, the Mirror Shield Technique. Objective? Develop a shield that not only deflects attacks, but reflects them back to their source, turning an adversary's energy against them. Procedure 1. Shield reinforcement. Visualize your existing shield, but add a mirrored surface to its outer layer. Imagine it as a perfect reflector, capable of bouncing back any energy directed at it. 2. Sensing the attack. Focus on enhancing your sensitivity to incoming energy. Feel for subtle shifts in pressure, temperature, or emotional weight that signal an attack. Your goal is to detect these before they breach your shield. 3. Reflective deflection. When you sense an attack, visualize it hitting your shield and reflecting back with equal force. Do not engage directly. Let your shield do the work, turning the attacker's intent against them. Zev observed as the students practiced, their concentration visible in their tense postures. He could feel the energy in the room shift as they refined their defenses, some even managing to deflect the faint pulses Zev occasionally sent their way. Good, he said. But remember, reflection is not retaliation. It's defense. The goal is not to harm, but to protect. Energetic offense, projecting force in the quantum field. Having built their defenses, Zev moved to the offensive aspects of energetic warfare. Defense alone is not enough. In some situations, you will need to assert force to disrupt an adversary's energy and create an opening. This is not about aggression, it's about strategic dominance. Zev activated another hologram, showing complex energy patterns clashing in an abstract representation of psychic combat. Energetic offense can take many forms: disruption, disorientation, or direct force. The key is control. Unfocused energy is chaos, but controlled energy is a weapon. Advanced
Job to set the thought of energetic warfare, the man in the battlefield of the mind. The training room was stripped of its usual high-tech displays and replaced with an eerie, almost sacred ambience. The walls were bare and the lighting was dim, creating an atmosphere that felt less like a modern intelligence facility and more like a temple of ancient warriors. Zev Talon stood at the front, radiating a calm, yet intense energy. Today's lesson was unlike any other. They would be delving into the realm of energetic warfare, where battles were fought not with guns or knives, but with the power of the mind and spirit. Zev's students were seated in a tight circle, a formation designed to foster focus and cohesion. Today they were not just learning techniques, they were stepping into a battlefield that was both ancient and futuristic, one that existed in the unseen spaces between thought and intention. The unseen battle, understanding energetic warfare. Welcome to the next phase of your training. Zev began, his voice resonating with a quiet authority. Today we're gonna explore a battlefield that most operatives never even recognize. The battlefield of the mind and energy. Energetic warfare is about more than just influencing events. It's about defending and attacking in the quantum realm. It's about commanding the space where thought becomes action, where intent becomes reality. He moved around the circle, making eye contact with each student, ensuring they understood the gravity of the lesson. This is the realm of psychic defense and energetic assault. Here you don't need weapons to cause harm, and you don't need armor to protect yourself. Your mind is your sword, your shield, and your greatest ally. Zev activated a small dim projector in the center of the circle, displaying a holographic representation of a human aura, a vibrant field of energy surrounding a figure. Every human, every living being emits an energy field. This field is both a source of power and a vulnerability. In energetic warfare, you learn to manipulate this field to protect your own and disrupt those of your adversaries. Exercise 1, building the energetic shield. Zev began with the basics, the construction of an energetic shield, a mental barrier that can deflect unwanted influences and protect against energetic attacks. Your first line of defense is your shield. Without it, you're vulnerable to every stray thought, every psychic intrusion, every hostile intention. Objective: create a powerful, resilient, energetic shield to protect against external influences and energetic attacks. Procedure 1, grounding the self. Begin by grounding your energy. Close your eyes and imagine roots extending from your feet deep into the earth, drawing up strength and stability. This grounding anchors your energy, making your shield more resilient. 2, shield visualization. Visualize a glowing, impenetrable barrier surrounding your body. It can be a sphere, a wall, or any form.
You open the next phase of your training. Zev began, his voice resonating with a quiet authority. Today, we're going to explore a battlefield that most operatives never even recognize. The battlefield of the mind. Energetic warfare is about more than just influencing events. It's about defending and attacking in the quantum realm. It's about commanding the space where thought becomes action, where intent becomes reality. He moved around the circle, making eye contact with each student, ensuring they understood the gravity of the lesson. This is the realm of psychic defense and energetic assault. Here you don't need weapons to cause harm, and you don't need armor to protect yourself. Your mind is your sword, your shield, and your greatest ally.
Zev activated a small dim projector in the center of the circle, displaying a holographic representation of a human aura, a vibrant field of energy surrounding a figure. Every human, every living being emits an energy field. This field is